Good afternoon, my friends. My name is Melissa from Melissa's Struggling Walk with Jesus. I'm using the Amplified Holy Bible and the Navigator's Bible reading plan to do this. In this video, I'll be reading from the book of 2 Kings, chapters 18 and 19. And so chapter 18 starts out with the Heze Kia H.Reigns over Judah. And it says, Now it came about in the 3rd year of Hoshea, the son of Elah, the king of Israel, Hezekiah the son of Ahaz, king of Judah, became king. He was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Abi, the daughter of Zechariah. Verse 3. Hezekiah did right in the sight of the Lord, in accordance with everything that David his ancestor had done. 4. He removed the high places of pagan worship, broke down the images, the memorial stones, and cut down the Asherim. He also crushed to pieces the bronze serpent that Moses had made. For until those days, the Israelites had burned incense to it, and it was called Neheshtan, a bronze sculpture. Check out Numbers chapter 21, verse 8. Verse 5. Hezekiah trusted in and relied confidently on the Lord, the God of Israel, so that after him there was no one like him among all the kings of Judah, nor among those who were before him. Verse 6. For he clung to the Lord. He did not turn away from faithfully following him, but he kept his commandments, which the Lord had commanded Moses. Hezekiah victorious, starting with verse 7. And the Lord was with Hezekiah. He was successful wherever he went, and he rebelled against the king of Assyria and refused to serve him. 8. He defeated the Philistines as far as Gaza, the most distant city, and its borders, from the isolated lookout tower to the populous fortified city. 9. Now in the 4th year of King Hezekiah, which was the 7th year of Hoshea the son of Elah, king of Israel, Shalmaneser the king of Assyria went up against Samaria and besieged it. 10. At the end of 3 years they captured it. In the 6th year of Hezekiah, which was the 9th year of Hoshea the king of Israel, Samaria was taken. Then the king of Assyria sent Israel into exile to Assyria, and put them in Halah, and on the river of the city of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes. 12. Because they did not obey the voice of the Lord their God, but broke his covenant, everything that Moses the servant of the Lord had commanded, and they would not listen nor do it. So invasion of Judah, starting with verse 13. Now in the 14th year of King Hezekiah, Sennacherib the king of Assyria went up against all the fortified cities of Judah, except Jerusalem, and captured them. 14. Then Hezekiah king of Judah sent word to the king of Assyria at Lachish, saying, I have done wrong. Withdraw from me. Whatever you impose on me, I will bear. So the king of Assyria imposed on Hezekiah king of Judah a tribute tax of 300 talents of silver and 30 talents of gold. Verse 15. Hezekiah gave him all the silver that was found in the house, the temple of the Lord, and in the treasuries of the king's palace. 16. At that time Hezekiah cut away the gold framework from the doors of the temple of the Lord, and from the doorpost which he had overlaid, and gave it to the king of Assyria. 17. Then the king of Assyria sent the Tartan, and the Rabsaris, and the Rabshakeh, his highest officials with a large army, from Lachish to King Hezekiah at Jerusalem. They went up and came to Jerusalem, and when they went up and arrived, they stood by the aqueduct of the upper room, which is on the road of the fuller's field. Check out 2 Chronicles chapter 32, verses 9 through 19, and Isaiah chapter 36, verses 1 through 22, my friends. Verse 18. When they called for the king, Eliakim the son of Hilkiah, who was in charge of the king's household, and Shebna the scribe, and Joah the son of Asaph the secretary, went out to meet them. 19. Then the Rabshakeh said to them, Say to Hezekiah, Thus says the great king, the king of Assyria, What is the reason for this confidence that you have? 20. You say, but they are only empty words, I have counsel and strength for the war. Now on whom do you rely that you have rebelled against me? 21. Now pay attention. You are relying on Egypt, on that staff of crushed reed. If a man leans on it, it will only go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all who trust and rely on him. 22. But if you tell me, we trust in and rely on the Lord our God, is it not he whose high places and altars Hezekiah has removed? And has said to Judah and Jerusalem, You shall worship only before this altar in Jerusalem? 23. Now then, make a bargain with my lord the king of Assyria, and I will give you 2,000 horses, if on your part you can put riders on them. 24. How then can you drive back even one official of the least of my master's servants, when you rely on Egypt for chariots and horsemen? 25. Now have I come up against this place to destroy it without the Lord's approval? The Lord said to me, Go up against this land and destroy it. 26. Then Eliakim the son of Hilkiah and Shebna and Joah said to the Rabshakeh, Please speak to your servants in the Aramaic, the Syrian language, because we understand it. And do not speak with us in the Judean, the Hebrew language, in the hearing of the people who are on the wall. 27. But the Rabshakeh said to them, Has my master sent me only to your master, and to you to say these things? Has he not sent me to the men who sit on the wall, who are doomed by the siege to eat their own excrement, and drink their own urine along with you? 28. Then the Rabshakeh stood and shouted out with a loud voice in Judean Hebrew, Hear the words of the great king, the king of Assyria. 29. Thus says the king, Do not let Hezekiah deceive you, for he will not be able to rescue you from my hand. Nor let Hezekiah make you trust in and rely on the Lord, saying, The Lord will certainly rescue us. And this city of Jerusalem will not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria. 31. Do not listen to Hezekiah, for thus says the king of Assyria, Surrender to me and come out to meet me, and every man may eat from his own vine and fig tree, and every man may drink the waters of his own well. Excuse me. 32. Until I come and take you away to a land like your own land, a land of grain and new wine, a land of bread and vineyards, a land of olive trees and honey, so that you may live and not die. Do not listen to Hezekiah when he misleads and incites you, saying, The Lord will rescue us. 33. Has any one of the gods of the nations ever rescued his land from the hand of the king of Assyria? 34. Where are the gods of Hamath and Arpad and Aram? Where are the gods of Sepharvaim Hena and Iva in the valley of the Euphrates? Have they rescued Samaria, Israel's capital, from my hand? 35. Who among all the gods of the lands have rescued their lands from my hand, that the Lord would rescue Jerusalem from my hand? 36. But the people kept silent and did not answer him, for the king had commanded, do not answer him. 37. Then Eliakim the son of Hilkiah, who was in charge of the royal household, and Shebna the scribe, and Joah the son of Asaph the secretary, came to Hezekiah with their clothes torn, in grief and despair, and told him what the Rabshakeh had said. We're going to move on to 2 Kings chapter 19. The title is Isaiah Encourages Hezekiah. So when King Hezekiah heard it, he tore his clothes, and he covered himself with sackcloth, and went into the house, the temple of the Lord. Check out Isaiah chapter 37, verses 1 through 13, my friends. Verse 2. Then he sent Eliakim, who was in charge of his household, Shebna the scribe, and the elders of the priests, covered with sackcloth, to Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz. Verse 3. They said to him, Thus says Hezekiah, this is a day of distress and anxiety, of punishment and humiliation. For children have come to the time of their birth, and there is no strength to rescue them. 4. It may be that the Lord your God will hear all the words of the Rabshakeh, whom his master the king of Assyria has sent to taunt and defy the living God, and will rebuke the words which the Lord your God has heard. So offer a prayer for the remnant of his people that is left in Judah. 5. So the servants of King Hezekiah came to Isaiah. 6. Isaiah said to them, Say thus to your master, Thus says the Lord, Do not be afraid because of the words that you have heard, with which the servants of the kings of Assyria have reviled and blasphemed me. 7. Behold, I will put a spirit in him so that he will hear a rumor and return to his own land. And I will make him fall by the sword in his own land. So Sennacherib defies God in verse 8. So the Rabshakeh returned and found the king of Assyria fighting against Libnah, a fortified city of Judah, for he had heard that the king had left Lachish. 9. When the king heard them say concerning Tirhakah, king of Ethiopia, Behold, he has come to make war against you, he sent messengers again to Hezekiah, saying, in verse 10, Say this to Hezekiah, king of Judah, Do not let your God on whom you rely deceive you by saying, Jerusalem shall not be handed over to the king of Assyria. 11. Listen, you have heard what the Assyrian kings have done to all the lands, destroying them completely. So will you be spared? 12. Did the gods of the nations whom my forefathers destroyed rescue them? Gozan and Haran of Mesopotamia, and Reziph and the people of Eden, who were in Telassar. 13. Where is the king of Hamath, the king of Arpad of northern Syria, the king of the city of Sepharvaim, and of Hena and Iva? Hezekiah's prayer, starting with verse 14, and it says, Hezekiah received the letter from the hand of the messengers and read it. Then he went up to the house, temple of the Lord, and spread it out before the Lord. Check out Isaiah chapter 37, verses 14 through 20. Verse 15. Hezekiah prayed before the Lord and said, O Lord, the God of Israel, who is enthroned above the cherubim of the ark in the temple, you are the God, you alone, of all the kingdoms of the earth. You have made the heavens and the earth. 16. O Lord, bend down your ear and hear, Lord. Open your eyes and see. Hear the taunting words of Sennacherib, which he has sent to taunt and defy the living God. 17. It is true, Lord, that the Assyrian kings had devastated the nations and their lands. 18. And have thrown their gods into the fire, for they were not real gods, but only the work of man's hands, wood and stone, so they could destroy them, and have destroyed them. 19. Now, O Lord our God, please save us from his hand, so that all the kingdoms of the earth may know, without any doubt, that you alone, O Lord our God. Excuse me. 2 Kings chapter 19, starting with verse 20. The title is God's Answer through Isaiah. Then Isaiah the son of Amoz sent word to Hezekiah, saying, Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, I have heard your prayers to me regarding Sennacherib, the king of Assyria. Check out Isaiah chapter 37, verses 21 through 38, my friends. Verse 21. This is the word that the Lord has spoken against him. The virgin daughter of Zion has despised you and mocked you. The daughter of Jerusalem has shaken her head behind you. Verse 22. Whom have you taunted and blasphemed? Against whom have you raised your voice and haughtily lifted up your eyes? Against the Holy One of Israel. 23. Through your messengers you have taunted and defied the Lord, and have said boastfully, With my many chariots I came up to the heights of the mountains, to the remotest parts of Lebanon. I cut down its tall cedar trees and its choicest cypress trees. I entered its most distant lodging, its densest forest. 24. I dug wells and drank foreign waters, and with the sole of my feet I dried up all the rivers of the lower Nile of Egypt. 25. Have you not heard? Ask the gods of Israel. Long ago I did it. From ancient times I planned it. Now I have brought it to pass that you, king of Assyria, should be my instrument to turn fortified cities into ruinous heaps. 26. Therefore their inhabitants were powerless. They were shattered in spirit and put in shame. They were like plants of the field, the green herb, as grass on the housetops is scorched before it is grown up. 27. But I, the Lord, know you're sitting down, O Sennacherib. You're going out, you're coming in, and you're raging against me. 28. Because of your raging against me, and because your arrogance and complacency have come up to my ears, I will put my hook in your nose and my bridle in your lips, and I will turn you back to Assyria by the way that you came. 29. Then this shall be the sign of these things to you, Hezekiah. This year you will eat what grows of itself. In the second year what springs up voluntarily. And in the third year sow and reap, plant vineyards, and eat their fruit. 30. The survivors who remain of the house of Judah will again take root downward and bear fruit upward. 31. For a remnant will go forth from Jerusalem, and a band of survivors from Mount Zion. The zeal of the Lord of hosts shall perform this. 32. Therefore thus says the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he will not come to this city Jerusalem, nor shoot an arrow there, nor will he come before it with a shield, nor throw up a siege ramp against it. 33. By the way that he came, by the same way he will return, and he will not come into this city, declares the Lord. 34. For I will protect this city to save it for my own sake and for my servant David's sake. 35. Then it came to pass that night that the angel of the Lord went forth and struck down 185,000 men in the camp of the Assyrians. When the survivors got up early in the morning, behold, all 185,000 of them were dead. 36. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, left and returned home and lived at Nineveh. 37. It came about as he was worshiping in the house of Nisroch, his god, that his sons, Adremelech and Sharezer, killed him with a sword, and they escaped to the land of Ararat. And Esarhaddon his son became king in his place.